It's a big one tonight. The Group E opener as Chelsea host Sevilla for the first time in European competition. Champions League nights back at the Bridge. We get underway in, well, less than an hour now. This is what it's about. We are joined by Pat Nevin, Abby McCarthy and Ben Andrews, who we're going to jump straight into. Ben, you've got the team news for us.
I have indeed. 3 Chelsea changes tonight from the Southampton starting 11, and they're all at the back. Probably no real surprise there. Mendy is fit, having missed the Saints game. Thiago Silva is fit, having missed the Saints game. And Reece James is in for Azpilicueta. So outgoing Kepa, Andreas Christensen and Azpilicueta. Incoming Reece James, Thiago Silva and Mendy. So it's still Kante and Jorginho in midfield. Pulisic, Havertz and Mount behind Timo Werner.
That front four always gets us very excited, Ben. But I suppose the addition of Thiago Silva, the experience he brings in this competition alone, but not just that, into that back line, that's big this evening. Yeah,
it is. I mean, that front four for 40 minutes, we were just purring, weren't we, at the weekend? Nothing wrong with what was going on up there at all. Just such fluid football and so many different ways to hurt you and so many different options. But clearly, Frank has also sought to sort it out a bit more at the back tonight. You know, 2 of the new signings back there, 3 of them actually, Ben Chilwell and Thiago Silva and Mendy. So you hope that will solidify things, and Thiago Silva, 80 games in the Champions League. Hopefully that counts for a lot.
Pat, any surprises for you this evening with the team selection?
I don't think any massive surprises really, because Reece James or Azpilicueta, we know they're perfectly capable players. In fact, more than capable players. They give you something slightly different, and I think Reece gives you that little bit more extra with his crossing ability. And considering the quality we've got up front, it would have been an absolute shock if Thiago Silva not started. Let's be fair about that. And it's whoever he plays beside. You know, any of the other centre backs will look better playing beside Thiago Silva because he is that special, he's that intelligent, and people feel more comfortable around him. So maybe not a great surprise there. I think 1 or 2 of us were expecting maybe Kovacic might get a shout, but you know, the game lasts 90 odd minutes. Don't be surprised to see him at some point.
Let's get straight into our first hot topic of the evening, then, Abby. Who starts? I mean, I'm guessing a lot of people on the app are getting very excited about the fact that the lineups come out, and no real surprise that, as we've already mentioned, that front four was so good on Saturday. I'm so excited to see him in European competition tonight.
Yeah, me too. Let's hope we see goals and lots of them. But yeah, people in the app, a few people were saying that maybe Kovacic would have started, but obviously he hasn't. You know, him and Kante obviously play well together. A lot of people just excited to see Timo scoring some goals again. And amazing news about Mendy, isn't it? I really thought that injury was going to take him out for longer. So again, a lot of people reacting to that. Lots of people again showing love to Havertz as well. China Gorham says Pulisic on the left, please. Olawu said would like to see Kante play alongside Mount and Havertz in midfield. So got their wish there. Alexander A wanted to see Kante take up the position in front of defenders alongside Kovacic, which, you know, we haven't seen. A few people wondering what will happen with Ziyech as well. So yeah, I think most people are quite happy with the lineup. As we say, not too many surprises.
Ben, I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? That piece by piece, slowly but surely, Frank is having more and more players available to him. I mean, we're 6-7 games into the season now, and he's yet to have a full complement. But nights like tonight, where players are starting to come back, it just gives him another opportunity to really work out where we're going, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that and the training ground day to day, because we are effectively asking a whole host of new players to gel on the job, and obviously you'd like time for that, but you'd ideally have 5 or 6 pre-season games where Chilwell and Mendy and Thiago Silva are all integrated in. I mean, nowadays you don't have a set best 11 all the time, but you probably still do have room on most nights for a set back 5, and you can probably rotate those attacking players a lot more. I imagine Pat would agree with that. But if you want solidity at the back, you probably need consistency of selection. Frank's never had that. He didn't have it last year either. To be honest, I mean, it was just, you know, it was 3 at the back, it was 4 at the back, it was Tomori in, it was Tomori out for ages, you know, Zuma in at the start of the season, at the end, but not at all in the middle. You know, now it's sort of Rudiger's not getting a game and nor's Tomori. It's got to help having people in there consistently. Kurt Zuma seems to be the most mainstay so far, and I know he made a bit of a rick there with that short back pass at the weekend. I have to say, prior to that, I'd have him as Chelsea's best defender this season. So I would guess that 3 of this back 4 are Frank's first choice, and Aspi and Reece, I mean, they're totally different. So it's almost depends on what you want from them specifically in the game, I would say.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, let's run through that team then that Ben gave us at the top of the show. Just once again, in goal, Mendy for this evening. Reece James, Thiago Silva, Kurt Zouma and Ben Chilwell was a back four for Chelsea. N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Christian Pulisic and Timo Werner. Pat, Ben made a great point there about... I suppose it's something that's been overlooked, really. But, we are only 6 or 7 games in. Usually that is a pre-season. And, we are expecting these players to just instantaneously click. We've seen it in games this season where Havertz and the link-up play between Havertz and Werner. And the other day, Werner certainly looks as sharp as attack at the moment already. But it's going to take time. And games like tonight, where I suppose you've not got the, you've not got the Premier League eye that's upon it, it's an opportunity because this is no strange competition to any of the players that we brought in.
No, it's not. It's interesting. The last couple of weeks, in my article that I write for the Chelsea website, I've been saying I want to see Havertz, Timo Werner, and Pulisic in the same team at the same time. Now, I don't care if you've got a centre forward up front in front of them. Be it Tammy. It could be that. Could be Olivier Giroud or Timo up front and one of the other midfielders beside them. I just want to see them 3 players playing together. Because I've got a feeling that's what Frank's plan was. Somehow those 3 guys are on the pitch, learning and understanding each other's game. And we've finally seen that 45 minutes of them there. And it was, as Ben said, astonishing. I could not believe how slick it was together and how they actually looked. So it's to see that, and it's really a surprise to me that.
Oh, Pat, we're just losing you a little bit, mate. I'll again, it's probably starting to get very busy. People stealing the Wi-Fi inside Stamford Bridge tonight. There's a lot of people knocking about. It's understandable. Ben, I'll come to you quickly while we can try and sort that out for Pat. But have you got any information on tonight's opponents tonight? Because it's the first time we've ever played Sevilla in the Champions League, which seems staggering considering that Chelsea and Sevilla you put in European competitions on a season by season basis.
It's nice, isn't it? Because we've had so much repetition over the years, tons of Porto and tons of Barcelona and tons of Liverpool before that. And yeah, in fact, all 3 clubs are new, Krasnodar as well and Rennes. Right, for starters, they're good. And I always think there's a little Englander mentality because it's not Real or Barcelona. I heard even people on the radio go, oh no, we should beat them. I don't know why that is. Chelsea are quite firm favourites with the bookies, as they were when Valencia came in Matchday 1 last year and completely outplayed Chelsea and won 1-0. They are very good. They lost at the weekend to Granada. Asterisk, they rested some of their players. That was their first defeat in La Liga going back to February. 18 unbeaten. In that time, they won the Europa League. So Chelsea handed that trophy to them. Not literally, but you know what I mean. They beat Antonio Conte's Inter in the final. In the Super Cup against Bayern, not that long ago, whenever it was in front of some fans, what was it, 3-4 weeks ago? They only lost in extra time, and that's 4 weeks after Chelsea have, conceded 7 goals to them. So, for me, they'd be slight favourites, and I think Chelsea are going to be absolutely at their best. The 2, or need to be at their best, should I say? The 2 main attacking players that didn't start at the weekend do tonight. That's Luke de Jong, who had a little go at Newcastle, people might remember, and Lucas Ocampos, who's quite dangerous. They got Suso, who 1 or 2 people might remember, got a few games for Liverpool under Brendan Rodgers. He's a classy player. And he'll supplement their attack. They have Jesus Navas, the quick lad from Man City. He plays right back nowadays, and they have another former Man City guy, a midfield dog, who didn't really do a whole lot for City, called Fernando, who was a Porto guy. But he'll dig in and work. They're a class outfit. They're good on the ball. They'll want to impose that game on Chelsea, and it'll be difficult. Very.
Will be. You spot. They've won the Europa League or that kind of that competition before the Europa League's birth 6 times. It's just like European competition in Sevilla. It's one of those things that they just know how to play. Which slightly cautiously leads me on to what we are predicting for this evening. We'll play prediction. If you could stay with us for a little bit, Ben, that'd be great, mate. Because you can get involved with this as well. There's loads of time to get involved with this ahead of every single Chelsea game. It's actually closed for this evening because we are less than an hour before fixture, which is when the cut-off point is for every game, Champions League games included. All you need to do is head to the Play Predictor section on the 5th Stand app and predict how you think the game will pan out. So you'll get points for how close you get to correct results, scores, etc., things like that. All rules, prizes, terms and conditions, everything you need is on the 5th stand app, and it closes an hour before kickoff, like I said. So you do need to be quick ahead of games for that. This is what we've gone for this evening then. I've gone 2-1. Abby's gone 3-1. Pat's gone 3-2. And Glenn Johnson, who's going to join us in a bit, he's gone 2-1. So I'll tell you what, Ben, I'll start with you, mate. I'm going to put you on the spot here, but what's your prediction for today? Because we've not got it yet.
Starters, can you hear the music? It's back. I'm going to go for 0-0. Only joking. Frank's never had one of them, by the way. 65 games in charge, not a 0-0 yet. 2 each, because that's how Chelsea are.
I respect that, Ben. I respect that. So, Pat, we're just getting you back, so I'll come to you in a second, give you a couple more seconds to get ready, mate. Abby, you've gone 3-1 tonight. Love that confidence. Talk to me.
Yeah, I've gone super positive, which now I'm like, did I make a mistake, gentlemen? We'll soon find out. I just think we played really well at the weekend. There was so much amazing link-up play. Like, attacking-wise, we are just on fire right now. So I definitely think we could score a few goals. We're probably going to concede at least one, maybe late on in the game, as we've been prone to do. But I do think we're going to come away with a win tonight.
I like that. Glenn Johnson's not here yet. He's gone 2-1, so he's clearly just seen mine and gone, Joe knows what he's talking about. I'll go 2-1 as well. Because my record on Play Predictor is absolutely appalling. So definitely not a good tactic. Pat, you've gone 3-2. I think we've got you back now, mate. Are you good?
I'm getting home. You've got me back now. I went through a completely different Wi-Fi system, so hopefully you can hear me fine. Yeah, I've gone for the 3-2, as I said before. That's because I think it'll be low scoring for the Chelsea game, because there are so many goals and we have so many goal scorers here that I think it could be end to end. We're going to go for it. We don't know any other way to do it. And of course, there are chances for the opposition. They're a decent side. I went to see them just a few months back, and they're entertaining and exciting and expect to win themselves. So they won't come here with any negativity. So 3-2 to us. Was tempted to 4-3, but 3-2 us.
Ben, thank you for sticking around a little bit longer, mate. I'll let you go and get set for commentary. Pat will be joining you in a little while, so cheers for that, Ben. Thank you very much. So that's what we think. That's what we've predicted for tonight. Here's what Vinay from the official supporters club in Kerala, India, has gone for tonight.
Hi fellow Blues, this is Vinay here representing Chelsea Supporters Club Kerala. So the Champions League nights are back at the bridge, and we are hosting Sevilla in our first game of the campaign. It's going to be a tough game, especially considering the Spaniards' recent good record at the European stage. But I have high hopes on our young squad, and hopefully our youngsters will hit their stride right on time and bring that much needed win. And so I'm going for a 3-1 win for Chelsea with Timo Werner to kickstart the scoring. Come on, Chelsea.
I'll tell you what, I'm getting dead excited. I'm not even there. I can hear Pat Nevin. You can hear the Champions League music swirling around Stamford Bridge. It sounds incredible. I was keen to shout above it, but Pat, I think we're going to have to mute you for a second, just because I'm going to lose my voice for kickoff otherwise. Abby, let's talk about another hot topic we've got for this evening then, which is defensive improvements. As Ben said, 3 changes to the back 5. Mendy coming in, Thiago Silva coming in, and Reece James as well. Like we've been saying at the top of the show, we're 6 or 7 games in. We've not really seen a solidified back 5, but you can look at that in a positive way, in the way that's saying that players have got an opportunity to play their way into that back 5. It's not like some teams where you go, well, I'm sat on the bench, I've got to wait for my chance. Here's your chance. Yep. Go and get it. What are the app comments saying on that?
Yeah, a lot of people are just saying it's, we have so many positives attacking wise, but whilst we have that, there are kind of as many things that we need to look at and work on defensively. So a lot of people are saying, like Kudo was saying, we need to have a balanced team attacking and defensively, because we're definitely just killing it on the attacking front at the moment. Phil C said we need to eliminate the individual errors, and then we're going to create chances, score, and keep those clean sheets. A lot of people were wondering whether Mendy would start. So I do think that is going to really boost people's mood going into the game. And he's played well so for us, so far. So fingers crossed he has another good game.
Well,
Maybe we'll even get a clean sheet. Imagine that. Yeah.
I was going to say, 1 game, 1 clean sheet for Edouard Mendy at the moment. I mean, Pat, he's obviously a massive figure, not just physically. He's 6'6" or whatever he is, but in his first game for Chelsea, looked very assured. Obviously, a clean sheet. He'll be a big addition tonight. Frank will be pleased to have him back that quickly after international, looking like it could be a potential injury.
Yeah, he had a lot of belief about him when he played in his first game, and it was a bit of a knock to him because he'd want to get to know the guys that are playing in front of him. Interesting language stuff going on there as well, if you think about the players that are around them as well. Can I make one point about the defence? In defence of the defence, right? Okay, we've lost a lot of goals and you're looking at defenders. Defending isn't about defenders, it's about everybody. It's about the entire group. If you've got a team that's got two fullbacks who you're asking to fly forward, and by the way, we're asking our fullbacks to fly forward probably at the same time. It's about the midfielders, what you do to cover them. So it's not just the guys who you see being the last line, the one who makes the final little missed tackle or whatever. The other things around it, it's more complex than that. So don't be over harsh on certain individuals that people will be having a dig at. It's a group thing. You have to defend as a team, as a unit. Now, a lot of people mentioned the fact after the game at the weekend there, we lost 3 goals. All of them we lost possession in the midfield. Now, let's be honest about this. That's important. Frank Lampard knows that. He knew if you lose the ball in midfield, the defenders have got no cover in front of them. So put all that together in the midst of it. So we're talking about all them. We're talking about defenders. And the keeper wants everybody in front of him working. So that's why Mendy is important. He wants every single player working and giving him as much cover as possible so that he has a limited amount of shots to save. But when he does it, he looks confident at the moment. And I think it's a big lift to him. And to be honest, a big lift to everyone around him that he's back.
It's a great point you make about that togetherness, and Frank has spoken about. Also, Cesar Azpilicueta in the program, the Matchday program for tonight, is a really interesting piece about him, and it's kind of the whole narrative is about sticking together. You can buy the program, by the way, for every Matchday on chelseafc.com. Go and get it; it's class. But he speaks about that togetherness, and Abby, we see that on a regular basis, that the fact that the team, there is such a cohesive unit, and it feels like that the team is bonding so well. I don't know if I'm sure you all do follow Ben Chilwell on Instagram and Twitter. Ben's one of the newest arrivals, and it's like he's been there about 6 or 7 years. He's playing pranks on players. They seem to be just really good friends, and there seems like a really good energy and a really good vibe around the club. And like Pat's pointing out, no one internally, no one externally, no Chelsea fans anyway, are digging out each other. It's like, we've got, we know we can make improvements, whether it be defensively or wherever, but it's a team effort to make those improvements.
Yeah, well, that's a really important point to make, isn't it? There's lots of new signings and new players, so it is going to take a while to completely gel on the pitch, but everyone's really got each other's back. Everyone's becoming friends, doing silly jokes on each other, and they seem like a real family. And I think that is so important, that really positive morale, especially going into a big game like this.
Completely. Pat, I want to ask you actually, because it's just occurred to me, as an attacking player, when a new goalkeeper comes into the club, how do you test him?
Like everybody else, wind them up. I mean, clearly. Funny thing is with goalkeepers, they are different from the rest of us. They're usually slightly apart. They kind of stick with each other most of the time. So they're often training slightly separate for you a lot of the time. Sometimes when goalkeepers get involved in training, they're not happy about getting involved in the training because they're there basically to get battered shots a lot of the time. So it's an integration slightly different for them as a group. Sometimes it helps if they've got big personalities. And let's be fair, most goalkeepers have got big personalities. They're usually slightly mad, and that helps them. Interesting to see how he develops with the group. Kepa, we always kind of, from the outside, he looks kind of quiet, doesn't he? It looks as if he's not the biggest character. He looks quite serious-minded, but people often feel that from the outside, and then you get to know him inside, it's different. But it certainly looks the case that Mendy looks a bit more gregarious. And if you are gregarious, that means that winding up that I mentioned earlier on, that's easier. The worst thing is, see if you make a mistake and nobody mentions it. That's a nightmare in a dressing room. That's a disaster. That is not what you want, because then you know it's serious. If you make the odd mistake and people are going, having a laugh with you about it, instead of nudging you about it, then you're mates. Then they're willing to dig you out. But there comes a level where you need to leave that go and you get much more serious about it. But they are. It's a good question. Keepers are different. They're very, very different from the rest of us.
Well, we've been enjoying the new additions to Stamford Bridge this summer. We're going to have a new addition to Matchday Live very soon, actually, because part 2, we're going to be joined by Glenn Johnson. We will be back shortly. But up now, let's hear about what the manager had to say in Ask Frank.
Focusing on the midfield area, you certainly have options there now. What factors come into play when you consider who plays in the middle each week?
Well, first I would always look at us and what we want to do and how the shape of our team has changed slightly this year with the players that we've brought in. You can probably see in a couple of the last games that the shape's changed, and that needs work, and that will take time, and that will take the build of relationships. And if you talk about midfield in general, if you're playing with a 2 in there as we have in the last and a number 10 in front, you want to talk and work and review games and see where we can improve every day in training. So I take all that into account in terms of the balance of the team and what we have and the personalities in the team and people that can drive it from midfield. It's such an important part of the team, particularly now where we may have more players advanced, fullbacks joining in. The midfield have to be very, very disciplined at times, and it looks different from somehow how we were last year. So that will be part of the process as well.
How important is it to have players with different characteristics when you're looking at that dynamic?
Yeah, definitely, because you want a club the level of Chelsea. It's one of the first things I noticed when I signed it all those years ago was that the levels went up in all departments in terms of you have to be willing and able to receive the ball and make us play because we're a possession-based team. At the same time, when we have attacking players in different areas, you have to have a discipline about you to be able to defend and know your position when we have the ball, when we don't have the ball. So when you play a 2, you want to balance, but really in the modern game, but both those players, if it's a 2, have to be very aware of their defensive responsibilities. Otherwise, the Premier League teams are too organised, have too many threats against you, and you have to be very secure in that area.
Did your role change when you were during your playing career, depending on who you were alongside, whether it be a Makalele, a Mikel, an Essien,
It changed. It changed around my 29, 30 years old because I'd been used to playing with a Makalele or an Essien behind slightly, but I never wanted to be a number 10. I never played as an absolutely advanced midfielder. I loved to get involved in possession and arrive. But when we started to play a number 10, which was more in Andres Villas-Boas, Robbie Di Matteo, Rafa Benitez, those latter years really of my career, I had to play with more discipline because I was never a number 10 really, so I played alongside. But Obi Mikel had to show much more discipline. I had to be told to do it because I had an instinct to try and get in the box, and I still tried to keep that a little bit. But yeah, of course it changed, and that's what I want from the players. They have to have buy-in, and that means I have to try and be open with them, talk to them, try and coach them, and try and make sure we as a unit work and all the parts work, because that's the only way to be a successful team.
Hi Cesar, as a multiple trophy winning player for Chelsea over a number of years now, do you feel that the squad that's in place now has enough know-how to go deep into the Champions League?
Of course that I believe that we have the quality and ability to fight for everything. It's true that we have had a couple of changes in the squad. But since I arrived here in 2012, I always had the belief and the confidence that we could fight for everything. So this year it's true that we didn't start the way we wanted in the Premier League and in the Cup. But the Champions League starts is completely a new challenge, and we have to be ready for it because we are going to be playing against a strong team.
Let's go to Moose.
Hi, Cesar. I hope you're well. Again, at the weekend, in 3 goals, and it cost you a chance of winning the game. Is this a problem that can be fixed easily on the training ground, the defensive side of things at Chelsea, or is it because of the understandable changes with the goalkeeper that everybody at the back who plays at the back is just really nervous?
Well, what is very clear is that if we want to improve and to fight for everything, we have to improve the defensive side, and obviously this is a problem that we have to fix, collectively and individually, because when you consider so many goals, one day you can get away with it and you can score 4 goals, but you cannot rely in every single game to score 4 goals, because sometimes you have to score 1 in a set play and, maybe don't play your best game, but dig in and get a clean sheet, which is very important also for the confidence for the team. To have this solidity defensively, I think is key moving forward, and we have to start getting this consistency of winning games, of not conceding goals, because that will allow obviously more freedom to the attacking players, because we have shown the quality and the ability to create chances and to score goals.
Guillem up next, please. If you want to unmute yourself, Guillem.
Apologies, I'm here. Hi, Cesar. I feel that Sevilla is perhaps the most Premier League team in La Liga. I don't know if you agree in terms of intensity, high tempo, physicality, even tactical flexibility. So the first one would be, do you agree with that? And secondly, I want to suggest a little game for you to help us analyze the rival tomorrow. Where do you think Sevilla would have finished in last season Premier League?
Well, the first question, obviously, we saw Sevilla beat Wolves and Manchester United last campaign in the Europa League. So we have seen that they have the level to compete against teams in the Premier League. And obviously, as you said, they are a team that they want to control the game offensively and defensively. When they don't have the ball, they want to get it back and attack quickly, and also they try to put their attacking players in dangerous situations. So obviously I know the manager, I know Julen from my time in the national team. So we expect a tough game, but we are Chelsea, we are at home, we are in our first game of the Champions League, and we have to be ready to compete. And the position they could have finished last season, is difficult to say. In La Liga, they finished in the Champions League spot. They won the Europa League, so they had a very good season, and they have started in the same way in the new season.
Nizar Kinsella.
Hi Cesar. How does it feel to sort of welcome these new players into the squad as a captain? There's a lot of business done over the summer. How did it feel when you were watching it as the captain, and sort of will they help you challenge for the Champions League as well?
Well, obviously, in my role as a captain, I try to integrate them as quick as possible. I try to help whenever I can and wherever I can, because we know how football works, and especially this pre-season where we didn't have a lot of time, we had to adapt quickly. We know the Premier League, England is a special country in football, so from my experience, I always try to welcome them and integrate them in the group as quick as possible. It's true that we have had new faces and young and experienced from different countries, so trying to mix all together and to create that stability that obviously we need to compete, and we know how Champions League works. So from the first day we have to be ready for it.
Paul Brown.
Hi Cesar.
Hi.
Chelsea added a lot of players this window who've gone a long way in this competition. Do you think that extra experience gives you an edge this year? And what do you think the biggest thing you learned as a team from last season's run and the way that it ended was?
Well, when you get experience, obviously it's better, because last season we had players that they never test Champions League football, so was new for some of them, and we had to compete against difficult teams, and the last experience we had in the Champions League was against Bayern Munich, that they were the best in Europe last season. So we could see where we have to be if we want to challenge with the best, and we had a heavy score, and obviously we could see at home and away how they play, the intensity, the concentration, the focus in every single ball. So that's what it takes to be competing at the highest level, and hopefully from that moment, we could see, we could learn. You are never happy to lose, so we have the chance tomorrow to show what we have improved since last season in the Champions League, and we are going to be playing against a strong side, and that they have experience as well.
Jacob.
Hi Cesar. The manager said after the Southampton game that in the second half some of his instructions maybe didn't get across to the players, sort of going longer and beating the Southampton press. I mean, why do you think that happened? Is it inexperience? And also, if it is happening, is it down to perhaps yourself and other experienced players to react to it and maybe guide some of the younger players through that and do the manager's job for him?
Well, obviously, when you are in a situation where we were 2-0 up, we had the completely control of the game. we went to halftime 2-1. You know, in the second half, it's true that the first 10 minutes we put ourselves a bit in trouble. You know, we didn't choose the right solution. You know, even when we had to play short, we played long. When we had to play long, we played short. We lost a few balls there where I think they gave them the confidence to keep pressing us, and we didn't threat them enough. And you know, even though when we were 3-2 up, I think we regained a bit the control. And you know, in the last minute, we conceded a goal in a set play, which is very frustrating. And it's true that when we are on the pitch as individuals and collectively, we have to make better decisions. And you know, sometimes if you are 3-2 up, you know, you cannot expect maybe the last 10 minutes to play the best football in your life, but to dig in and to get the result at that moment and just you know, lock the door and finish.
Liam Toomey?
Hi Cesar, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
You've been part of several really successful Chelsea teams during your time at the club that have managed to be really good defensively while also scoring at a really high rate. And I was just wondering, how do you find that balance as a team between defence and attack while you're managing games? How do really good teams do that? How do you get there?
Well, obviously, you know, when you have the solidity defensively, I think it gives a boost for the whole team, you know, the confidence to the attacking players to create more chances, you know, because when you are weak defensively, sometimes, you know, we feel like we have to score 3-4 goals every game, which, you know, sometimes you cannot do. Is the reality. And when you have this collective work, and you know, I always see football as a collective, and when we don't score goals, I try to, you know, even as a defender, you know, how we can put our dangerous players, attacking players in better positions, because sometimes, you know, they don't get the service that they should get, and obviously when, as a defender, I feel bad, you know, when you concede as many goals, but sometimes, you know, we have to improve our personal mistakes. That obviously has been an issue, and also collectively sometimes we have to take decisions and to improve, to say, well, we all defend together right now. You know, it doesn't matter our position, just we take this and we win the game, because through the season you're not going to be playing beautiful football every single day and winning 3-4-0. So when you don't have the chance to do that, even if it's what we wish in every single game, you have to get it and get results, because football is about results. And, you know, in that moment, you know, we have to improve that.
Let's finish with the Evening Standard and James Robson.
Hi. Kepa is under a lot of scrutiny at the moment. As someone who is so experienced as you are, have you felt the need to help him out, offer him advice during a difficult time?
Well, you know, when we have, you know, the footballers, we have difficult times. Obviously, you know, in my position as a captain, also Kepa, I know him from long time ago, and you know, I always try to help him, and it's true that it's difficult, and sometimes you feel like everything goes against you, and you know, you have to have the character and, you know, the personality to face it and to work hard. You know, I don't have any doubt that you know, Kepa will be keeping you know, working hard and, you know, giving everything to revert the situation. We are, you know, the whole squad fighting for the targets as a collective, and you know, we need from everybody. And you know, obviously when you are a goalkeeper, you know, it's a completely different situation. But from that moment, you know, I don't have any doubt that you know, he will keep working hard and giving him his best.
Chelsea are back in action following the international break, with Southampton the visitors to Stamford Bridge. The Blues 4-0 thumping of Crystal Palace a fortnight ago, the perfect way to go into the first pause of the season. But the Saints arrive in good form too, having earned back-to-back victories in their most recent matches, both of which have included clean sheets. Edouard Mendy suffered an injury on international duty, so Kepa, who kept a clean sheet for Spain against Portugal, returns. Ben Chilwell is okay to feature after leaving the England camp early. Christian Pulisic makes his first start of the season. Timo Werner starts through the middle, with Hakim Ziyech amongst the substitutes. Southampton show 2 changes from their win against West Brom before the break. Stuart Armstrong and Moussa Djenepo unavailable, so Nathan Redmond comes in, and there's a second Saints debut for Theo Walcott, who's returned to the club where he started his career on loan from Everton. Chelsea Champions League winners Bertrand and Romeo also start. Pulisic and Werner linking up, and Pulisic's got Chilwell in space here, might be able to get a shot off Ben Chilwell. Little deflection on that. McCarthy saves, follow-up from Havertz, beaten away too. And Southampton's goalkeeper,
it's a great
keeping
save.
The scores level.
It's a fabulous save, isn't it? I mean, good, decent enough strike by Ben Chilwell, but there was a deflection in it. Good setup, drives it in towards that far post, slight deflection. Havertz with the reply, and McCarthy seems to get up and make the save again. And that's a good strike, and I guess it's Timo Werner who's slightly unsighting him, but he still makes the save.
Chilwell. Well, might be able to have a crack here, just wouldn't come down pretty quickly enough.
He wanted to. I think this is his first thought.
Chilwell in! And McCarthy can't keep it out.
Offside.
But the flag is up. Timo Werner's joy short-lived. He looked over to the referee's assistant almost before the net was rippling. Of course, it will be double-checked, but if the player thinks he's offside, he usually is.
Yeah, he's offside, isn't he? Correct decision.
Oh, what a turn. Werner, that's brilliant. Away from Bednarek, bearing down on goal. Still Timo Werner, away from Romeo. Yeah. That one's going to count. Timo Werner with his first Premier League goal. Chelsea ahead with just 15 minutes played.
And this is what Timo Werner is all about. That's the dummy. What a turn. Sends Bednarek the wrong way. But what does he do here? Does he take the player on the outside? Does he go inside? Decides to go inside. But it's that reverse drive that sends the goalkeeper McCarthy completely the wrong way. He has no idea what to do. And what a finish by Timo Werner. Look at that for a turn. Completely putting Southampton on the defensive, but he's still got work to do. Gets the ball out of his feet. And manages to find that bottom corner.
Pulisic. You know, I nearly said Hazard then. Just that little movement of touching the ball and running on. Got the same number on his back now, of course. Havertz into Mount. It's a nice take from Mason Mount. On he goes. Pulisic will take over. It's come back Mount's way. Again, Southampton all over the place at the back.
Yeah, desperate defending, wasn't it? By Southampton in the end, and Chelsea almost getting that clear shot at goal. Oh, missed his touch. Oh, carving them open time and time again. As you say about the two central defenders, there's got to be a worry in the Southampton ranks about the way the two are a partnership, because they are being dragged all over the place. Decent pullback by Pulisic. So Carl Walker-Peters has intervened twice there. Good defending by him.
Swept forward by Jorginho. It's a really good ball as well. Werner looking to unsettle Bednarek again. He's done it over the head of McCarthy. Brilliant from Timo Werner. He's arrived all right. Werner at the double. And Chelsea with a strong grip on the game now. Again, the Southampton defending left plenty to be desired, but nothing wrong with the Germans finishing. Chelsea 2, Saints 0. Werner's got them both.
Timo Werner, one-on-one, strong enough to hold off the challenge of Bednarek. But look at the quality. Faintest of touches over McCarthy. And it's an easy finish for him in the end. But the work is done here. Uses his pace to get in behind the centre-back. But there's the quality. The finish then becomes easy.
Well, Adams, clever through ball for Ings, and out of nothing. Southampton have got themselves a goal back just before half-time. Might that be a key moment in the match? Danny Ings scores again.
Well, that's a shame, isn't it? Because we were dominating the game. Nice little ball by Evans, but we said about Danny Ings, give him a chance. This is what he does.
Christensen's header. Pulisic doing likewise. Ings left it for Ward-Prowse. And Ings got it back from Adams and fired it low. And it was only a couple of inches wide.
Again, showing how quick his feet can change, Danny Ings. Brilliant change of footwork to find the space, the gap.
Well, Zuma, that was short, and Kepa's missed it, and Adams, can he get there, or Ings to turn it in for 2-2 off the post? Still with Adams, he's rifled it in. And from 2-0 down, Southampton are level.
Onside, Zuma with a poor touch, but Kepa's challenge here, really, what was he doing? Takes his eye completely off the ball. Christensen's unlucky because he nearly got it out of the danger area, possibly should have done. And eventually it falls to a Southampton foot and got themselves back on level terms.
Werner. Here's Pulisic. Werner wants it back. Werner for the hat-trick and selfishly tees up Havertz. And just like that, Chelsea are in front again.
Wow, magnificent. Great play again by Timo Werner, but Havertz as well had a big part to play. Obviously the finish, great interplay this is. Pulisic involved, both players trying to stay inside, certainly onside Havertz, no problem with that. Lovely little layoff ball, simple finish for Havertz, but really taken Southampton apart. It's a great return from the goal we've just given away. Pulisic does well to stay on his feet, doesn't he, through all that build-up play. And tidily finished by Havertz.
Walcott back dangerously. Danny Ings, good save Kepa, and Zuma was first to the loose ball.
There's half a chance for Danny Ings, isn't it, from that sort of position. Typical striker, gets his shot away, bang on target. Danny Ings adjusts well and finds that little bit of space, and Kepa equal to it. Felt like Reece James, he's run into Ryan Bertrand, and it was just coming together for me, but it gives Southampton a chance, doesn't it?
The ball from Bertrand, but Zuma got his head to it, and then Walcott back in, and it's crept in for 3-3. Whether Walcott's touch was the most significant or Yannick Vestergaard, it doesn't really matter, but Chelsea have been unable to hold on in stoppage time here.
It's an absolute disaster, isn't it? You know, and in some ways we probably haven't deserved too much in this second half. Vestergaard with the slightest of touches. This is a hopeful drive, isn't it, from Theo Walcott. Vestergaard just in the right place at the right time. And leaves Kepa with no chance at all.
Two-points drop for Chelsea, no doubt about that. Yannick Vestergaard's equaliser in stoppage time. A game in which the Blues were in control in the first half. 2-0 up, only for Danny Ings to pull one back just before the break. Southampton much better after the restart. Attention turns to the Champions League now. Sevilla come here on Tuesday night. But in the Premier League, Chelsea held at home. Final score at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 3, Southampton 3.
Not long until we kick off our UEFA Champions League journey. We hope it ends in about 7 months in Istanbul. We definitely know it starts in southwest London tonight with Sevilla, our opponents. This is the 11 that Frank Lampard has selected for tonight. Edouard Mendy starts in goal. Reece James, Thiago Silva, Kurt Zouma and Ben Chilwell. N'Golo Kanté, captain Jorginho, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Christian Pulisic and Timo Werner. On the bench tonight, Kepa Arrizabalaga, Willy Caballero, Antonio Rudiger, Andreas Christensen, Fikayo Tomori, Cesar Azpilicueta, Emerson, Mateo Kovacic, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Hakim Ziyech, Tammy Abraham and Olivier Giroud. Big night tonight, Pat. Let's go straight into our one to watch then for this evening, which is Thiago Silva. Mounds of experience, 80 appearances in the Champions League for PSG and AC Milan as well. How important is he when you get to competitions like that to have someone that's been there and done it?
I think Chelsea fans obviously know the history of what he's done. He is one of the legendary defenders of his era. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He's one of the best defenders that has played in the last 15 to 20 years. So, you know, we're not getting a player who's well past his best and we're just getting a bit eking out a bit out of him. The guy's top quality. And what he does is he works with everyone around him. He's not always shouting and bawling. He's just moving players just a few yards left or right behind him, closer, nearer, further away, so they know where to be. He covers people. He reads the game absolutely brilliantly as well. I mean, the oddest thing is, the first thing most of us saw was that mistake he made against West Brom. And you never see him making mistakes. It's an extraordinary thing to see. But I've been watching him all my career. There's one little story I would tell you about him. You remember Brazil get beat 7-1 against Germany in the World Cup? I was in Brazil at the time. And everybody kept on telling us it was because a certain Neymar wasn't playing that day. Nothing got to do with that. Because he wasn't playing. Thiago Silva wasn't playing that day. David Luiz was left on his own and they fell apart. That's how he was how important he was to that side. He's played at the top level forever. Whoever stands beside him tonight, or any night for Chelsea, will be a better player for standing beside him.
Abby, we've been spoilt with centre-halves over the years. I mean, obviously the one that is always going to draw comparisons is John Terry, because he's the greatest that we've ever had in that position. He's the greatest this country has ever produced, in my opinion. I'm sure everyone's opinion watching the Fifth Stand tonight's opinion as well. But he is right up there, you know. And Thiago Silva... I don't want to say you put him on a par with it, but in terms of experience, been there and done it. I mean, Thiago Silva's won a ridiculous amount of trophies for his time in France. Champions League finalist, 7-8 weeks ago, however long that was since then. But having that experience, having someone that's reliable and dependable, not only gives you a boost as a fan to know someone's there, but also if you're playing alongside him, you can have that confidence as well, aren't you? Absolutely. I mean, as a player, he's basically drowning in silverware. So, you know, if he's on your team, you're going to be feeling pretty pumped and secure. So yeah, he's such a key player for us going forwards. Pat, you mentioned there about whoever plays alongside him will be a better player for it. Does that add to training as well? Because, you know, we know that Fikayo Tomori obviously decided to stay at Chelsea and fight for his position. Andreas Christensen, Antonio Rudiger, Kurt Zuma. There's all options to play alongside Thiago Silva. And I mean, you throw the 6 or the 5 together and say you could pick 2 centre-halves out of it. But all those will be improved in training every day from playing beside him, won't they?
They will, because they will learn a little bits about the game. Do you know, centre-backs generally, they kind of reach maturity about 28. You know, before that, you're just learning the trade. It's not like that with any other position, maybe goalkeeper to some degree. But centre-backs, they do not generally come into their own until they're mid to late 20s. And then you start seeing the real player, because every mistake you make will be shown up. So a good idea to learn off the best there is. And you're talking about one of the best that there's been. They're going to stand beside them and learn. And I also go back to my own career. If you get somebody who's legendary in your sort of area of the field, who you end up playing with for a short period of time, you stare at them, you look at them, you want to see what this magic is. I can remember playing for Scotland and Kenny Dalglish was playing in my team. And it was like, wow, I'm playing in Kenny's team. You know, I just want to learn from everything. And these guys are like world-class players. And it didn't matter if they were playing for your opposition every week. If you were beside them for a wee period of time, you wanted to glean every single bit of information you could off them. And that's exactly what these players should do. And I hope Kurt does. And I hope Andreas does. And I hope Fikayo does. Because you will learn a huge amount, maybe more of him than you would learn from just about any other centre-back in the game today. So pay attention. Tell you what I'll be doing, Pat. I'll be grabbing that bib as soon as Thiago Silva's got one in training to make sure I'm on his team. But there's another man I'll be doing that for, and that's N'Golo Kanté. We know how important N'Golo Kanté is. Frank Lampard even mentioned this, actually, in the importance of having 2 deeper midfielders in Ask Frank this week. But Abby, I think we take N'Golo Kanté for granted because he's always 9 out of 10. That you just expect that of him. Any other player that's putting in those sort of performances would be waxing lyrical about. But because it's N'Golo, you're like, well, that's what he does. Yeah, literally, he does it like match in, match out, doesn't he? He's just amazing and consistent and world class, but he kind of always has been. So everyone's just like, Kante, you know what he's like. It does really feel like that, Pat, doesn't it? Because, you know, you look across the Premier League, you look across European and world football, there isn't a team in the world that wouldn't benefit from having N'Golo Kanté in the side. We are the fortunate ones that get to have him in our side every week. One of the things I've got when I watch top-level football, someone, every now and again, someone does something, I go, wow. It's not that often. It really isn't that often. It needs to be damn special. I'll admit to you, this season, Mo Salah's done it twice. He's had 2 finishes this season, which I thought, I don't know how you did that. You know, just no time, flash shot, etc. N'Golo Kanté does that with tackles every single match of every single game. He does something, I go, wow, I have no idea how you did that there. I have no idea how 3 guys were running in there, all taller than you. They're all now lying on the ground and you've walked away with the ball. Don't know how that happened. And I've said to you before, this theory I've got that I think he's got times on that. I think he lives slightly about 3 seconds in the future. So he knows exactly what everyone's going to do, and he does just before them and gets in and gets away with the ball. It's uncanny. It's a cult, the way he understands the way that other people are going to react to it. So very, very special player. You're right. We do almost take him for granted, but even so, every single game, at some point, I'll turn around to whichever players sitting next to me and go, "Did you see that?" And they'll go, "Yeah." We're just gobsmacked.
Pat, I'm glad we got the opportunity to talk tonight actually about the man that's stood beside him, the man that lines up with the armband on for Chelsea this evening as well, Jorginho. Now, I know that you're a massive fan of his, and I suppose that the best example of what he can do, probably not the best example because he can do so much, but a great example of what he does best is his assist for Timo Werner's second goal at the weekend, which is that just directing play and then being able to perfectly weight a ball into the path. He is so important. His passing in games like tonight, when he's up against Rakitic and Fernando in the middle, that's going to be key, isn't it?
You know how much I've been like this ever since we had first chatted. And when a lot of people went on Jorginho's side, I'm going, no, honestly, guys, you got to listen here. This is special, especially the fact that the stats weren't what people thought. He played more forward balls than anyone else, and everyone said, "Oh no, he passes sideways." No, he doesn't. He passes a lot sideways, but he has so many passes, you forget there's got a huge amount to go forward as well. But the simplicity of that ball over the top. And you can do that sometimes. You can wait this perfect, beautiful, shall we call it, Cesc Fabregas ball, if you like. But when you get someone like Timo Werner, or indeed Pulisic, or indeed Havertz, just lump it in there. Just put it in the space. They'll get there. Don't worry about it. And that's the joy of it. Jorginho knew how to do that. And it is one of the joys of when you play with players like that who are great players, fast players, know how to time a run. It doesn't have to make you look good when you're the guys passing to them. So yeah, Jorginho looked good, but they make him look good as well.
Abby, Pat's mentioned all 4 of them there, but let's talk about that front 4. Obviously, Timo Werner kind of stole the headlines from the first 45 minutes on Saturday with 2 just ridiculous goals, just absolutely ridiculous
amazing,
goals.
Yeah.
But they're the kind of highlight packages that we've been seeing and that we've been waiting for. And those 4, whenever you get an opportunity to see those 4 play together, you do get excited as a fan, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. They're all just such a joy to watch. And the goals have all been like pretty special. So as you say, it's just the most exciting thing to watch as a fan. And I'm hoping we're going to see some corkers tonight. What do we think?
Oh, let's hope so. Well, I'll tell you what, actually, we've got the perfect man to talk about those front 4 in a little bit more detail, actually, because Pat's been taking a look at why they were so very good on Saturday in the first 45 minutes against Southampton in tonight's Matchday Live analysis.
I've been waiting this for quite a while. Mason Mount, Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, and of course, our man Pulisic working together, and boy do they look good when they get together. Always trying to find each other, always willing to play intricate little passes, knowing that their mate is good enough so they'll always make themselves available. But great work rate, great intelligence. Well, I mean, that's a great term about Timo Werner. But look at his teammates up at the top of the picture there. They're all working for him. He scores a goal, but he passes to either of them, they probably score as well. You look at the comfort they've got with each other already. They hardly know each other at all. But look, we'll play intricate balls in the box. I believe that you can get there, and I'll always put it into the danger area because every one of them, in their own way, is a top goal scorer. Maybe Werner more than most, and he will go for the shots like that. But this goal is a thing of beauty, and it's the understanding between them all. Look at this little pass. Genius. Plays it into the middle. Piece of cake. They've got a long way to go, but they are special already.
Pat, we've just seen your analysis on the front 4 there. I don't want to put this on them, but they've set the bar very high now. We expect that on a weekly basis, don't we?
Yeah, but if you play with that sort of understanding and that ability, don't worry, you think you can do it. You believe you can do it. And you don't have to feel a better player when you get good players around you who can read you, who are thinking at the same level as you. Now, I'm looking back at players that we had working with us before, You know, when we had Hazard, you know, Oscar, certainly, you know, there's a lot. What Mata was like that as well. And certainly Willian, you know, players who could at various times manipulate the play and play with each other, but we're on exactly the same wavelength. But it sometimes takes a long time. I'm looking at 3 or 4 of these guys, and particularly 3 new guys there, and I put Pulisic in as one of the new guys. I knew they would work together. I just knew it. I was so comfortable and confident that they would do it. Because there's been periods of time in my career where I've kind of wanted to work with certain players when I was playing, and you get to work with them and you just think, oh yeah, I knew that would work. Yeah, I can see that because we think the same way. Well, those guys think exactly the same way, and it's a joy to behold. And honestly, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. It's really going to be fine. We're going to enjoy watching them for a long time. If they can stay fit, don't worry about it. They'll create a lot of goals. They'll work together well. And if you think of the average age of them, it's actually stunning what we can have for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years with them. It's amazing. Not only creative, every one of them is a goal scorer as well. It's extraordinary what they can do in the future.
Abby, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to. And you've got a free pass here because thankfully they're all warming up and getting ready for the game, so they can't actually see this or hear this. But out of the 4, I'm talking Mason, Kai Havertz, Christian Pulisic, Timo Werner. Which is the one, if you're inside Stamford Bridge tonight, European night, which is the one that would get you up off your feet quickest? Which is when they get the ball, when do you think something's going to happen?
Oh, what a question. You can't say them all, can you? Because that's cheating. I am going to say Werner, just because I think he's so quick on the ball. And it's almost as soon as he gets a touch, you're like, yeah, you're up on your feet and you're like, this is going to lead to something. He's so quick, isn't he, as well? He's so quick, and you're right. He's got that composure that we saw, especially in the first goal, where he takes his time. He doesn't snatch it. He finishes. Just incredible. I mean, we've been blessed. We've been more than blessed, actually, because there are plenty of incredible moments we've had in the Champions League. And here is our 10 unforgettable Champions League group stage moments. Something similar tonight would be very, very welcome.
Alex. Oh, and it's in! All the way in! All the way along the ground, and the Chelsea fans who made the trip to the cold are really happy now. Inside 40 minutes, the Blues are 3 goals to the good.
You know what? I'm not quite sure there's the somersault here. I'd drag him off for that alone.
Makaleli. Hoisted over the top. Frank Lampard was not offside. The home fans thought he was, and he scored! Well, I can't believe he meant it. Maybe he did. But who cares, one way and another? This extraordinary game's taken another twist, and Frank Lampard has scored pretty much from the byline.
Messi the other. This is Lionel Messi a bit wider than he wanted it. Got the shot in though. And Ilaria got a good hand to it. A lovely ball here for Xavi. And still Xavi. And Xavi's forced another decent save from Hilario. Should be the goalkeepers. And that might just about be Barcelona's last chance. It is! The champions of Europe have been beaten at the bridge. Chelsea 1, Barcelona 0.
Di Matteo. That's a super ball. Dennis Wise is onto it. Dennis Wise! Equaliser! What a moment! What a moment for the little skipper! What a finish! It had to be him!
Lampard for Cole. Too much space to play the pass. What about that? What about that from Oscar? That is fantastic! He scored twice in as many minutes.
All I can say is wow. Well, that, quite simply, is totally world class.
He's in Sturridge. For Drogba, Mata is filled up towards the far post, and he's controlled it. Now Drogba, not much room to shoot, but he's found it! And he's found the corner! And Chelsea inside 3 minutes have a dream start at the bridge. Mata. Drogba trying to stay onside, he's managed it! 3-0, that's it! Chelsea in the last 16. And And doesn't he deserve to score again?
Look at this from Kurt Zouma. Storming through the middle, this would be ideal. And still going! Oh, it would have been incredible. Stamford Bridge is on its feet now, all right. Quiet first half. They loved that. So did the gaffer. Kurt Zouma on his own.
Well, absolutely magnificent run. We keep saying be positive, but goodness me, he came a long way, didn't he, to get his shot away.
It's a great ball for Wright Phillips. And a super cross as well. Crespo finishes it off. And Chelsea are on fire here. They are scoring at will.
I tell you what, let me tell you about this cross. This is one hell of a cross to put it in from that sort of distance. And it is such a difficult skill to master. He's taken this on the first time.
Victor Moses. Moses again, it was Kante's touch. Chelsea might be round the back here. In! 2-1! Right at the end, Batshuayi wins the game for Chelsea. Terrible defending by Atletico Madrid. They won't care. What a victory.
Willian. Good ball. Oh, it's at the bar. Reece James scored the Champions League goal. And it's 4-4 at Stamford Bridge.
This has got to be the craziest game we've seen at Stamford Bridge in many, many years.
Less than 10 minutes until Chelsea kick off their Group E Champions League journey. We are joined by Glenn Johnson. Glenn, how are you, mate? You well?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad, man. Not bad. You've had a little bit of time then to digest the lineup that Frank selected tonight. What do you think of it?
I think it would be enough to get the job done. It's obviously not going to be an easy game, but I was looking at the amount of goals that they've been scoring, and if you maintain that and shore up the defence, you're going to be very tough to beat. Of course, the amount of goals they've been leaking is a worry, but at the end of the day, if you can outscore your opponents, you're going to win the football match.
Mate, you've played in games like this. What do you need from a night like tonight? Because obviously, we've got, I suppose, the best of both worlds. You've got players like Kai Havertz that's got experience in this competition, yet is frightfully young. Same with Timo Werner, Pulisic, Mount. But then also you've got we had a little chat about Thiago Silva earlier on about how he's played over 80 times in the Champions League. What do you need from tonight? Do you need experience, or is it kind of, do we overdo it as fans, going, it's the Champions League, it's under the lights, it's a massive spectacle? Is it another game or is it not?
It's kind of the happy balance. Of course, you need to know that the older guys need to know the game and need to understand when to try to, be flamboyant on the game or when just to shore things up. Whereas the younger guys, you just want them to go and play. You don't want them to think it's the Champions League, or you don't want them to think it's the Premier League. You just want them to go and enjoy their football. So it's kind of for the older guys, the ones with the experience, to rein their neck in a little bit, but then go and let them enjoy themselves at the right time. So you do need the happy balance. And to be fair, with the signings that Lamps has got, I think he's getting it right.
I do want to ask you as well about fullback. I'm going to put you on the spot, but obviously Reece getting the nod ahead of Cesar Azpilicueta tonight. I mean, I'm not going to ask you to pick your favourite, but tell me why Frank selected Reece tonight.
I just think he's going in the right direction. For me, I think he's still a little bit off the, in terms of, I think he's got so much potential that he hasn't reached his top level yet. But I think he's just got everything. He's a strong boy. He loves a tackle. He's very good on the ball, and he's super relaxed. And I think you kind of need all those things at this level in the game. I just think he offers much more going forward as Azpilicueta. I think he's more physical. Clearly hasn't got as much experience, but not many young kids have at that age. So I think he's just going in the right direction. And I think this is almost a tactic from Lamps to say, look, I've selected you, in front of a very, very professional guy that will give everything for the club. And now it's now your opportunity to give me something back and show me what you can do.
Pat would have stitched you up there as well, Glenn, by the way. It'd have put you on the spot, mate.
I'm pretty sure.
To you, not a bad though, not a bad. Abby, let's go to our hot topic 3 for this evening, which is how tough is Group E? Now, Krasnodar and Rennes are obviously playing in the other game this evening. We'll keep you updated with that through the game. We'll play Krasnodar next week and then Rennes in a couple of weeks at the start of November. But I wonder at the comments, because it's very easy, I suppose, to be sort of a bit dismissive of teams that we've never played before because you're not got that experience to recount on. But these are all very, very decent sides. You don't get into the Champions League by luck. And we're going to need to be at our best to get through this, aren't we?
Yeah, it's just a lot of good luck messages because as you say, a lot of new opponents. So people aren't kind of sure how we're going to fare. So everyone's just like, please, can we do this? Let's score. Let's play well defensively. That's the kind of general consensus on the app. But yeah, it's hard to know our group, really, isn't it?
Completely. Pat, I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I know I've just said all that, but also we do expect Chelsea to finish top of the group, don't we?
Of course.
Yes, I do. I do think we will finish top of the group because we're quite capable of that. Now, you talk about the fact that the other teams are good sides. However, if you're the other team looking at what Chelsea have got, you'll be worried. You'll be thinking, right, try and keep it steady, try and keep it safe. They have got so much danger going forward that there must be a fear factor there. And again, it is a slight concern. I mean, I think a lot of the teams from Central, mainland Europe must look at the Premier League and think, what on earth is going on there? There's 7 2s and there's 6 1s and there's 5 3s and there's mayhem going on everywhere. And they don't almost know what to expect from this mad Premier League that we've got just now. And Chelsea are right in the middle of that with scoring for fun. But of course, they've got that in the back of their mind that they are capable of scoring too. Look, if we play at our best in any of these games, including tonight, we will win. And I think that's a real capability. But watch out for a few of them. Ocampos in particular. I went to see Seville playing last season when they were playing at Wolves and they won the game, got through against Wolves. I think Ocampos is a good player. I think he had an inner ear problem that night. He just kept on falling over when no one was near him. But apart from that, very, very good player indeed.
Pat, I'm getting in trouble, mate, for keeping you longer than I should do. So I'm going to free you up and let you go to over to commentary duties. We'll come to you in a second. We'll speak to you at half-time. Thank you very much, mate. Glenn, very quickly as well, I need to ask you about your prediction for today. Abby's gone 3-1, Pat went 3-2, and you and I both went 2-1. So if you can say why you went 2-1, and then I'll just say exactly the same as you, and then it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. So
I just think there's going to be goals, and I think Chelsea, if they turn up, which on a night like this they usually do, I just think that they're gonna outperform, and I think Sevilla will be more fearful of them than they are, vice versa. So I just think there's going to be goals, and I just think Chelsea will get the better on whether the good way or the ugly way.
Perfect. Right, well, thank you very much. That is all from us, actually. We'll see you at half-time to get everyone's thoughts on how the match is unfolding. Coming up in a few minutes is live commentary from Stamford Bridge as Chelsea kick off their Champions League campaign with Ben and Pat. So we'll see you very soon.